When we were kids, we all had our go-to happy place, our escape. We gravitated to art, movies, bands, musical, or books. Something that did not make us feel alone, but empowered us in a world of love, magic, and adventures. Come with me as we explore the wizarding world with William Phoenix. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 11th installment of Wizarding with William Phoenix. This is where this part of the journey ends. There will be more coming soon, as I have decided that I will turn this into a monthly podcast, bringing on not only experts on the Harry Potter world, but also bring in just fans, cosplayers, anybody that has anything to say or wants to discuss about Harry Potter. So, though this may end the series for now, it will just only close the chapter, as more chapters will soon open and follow. So today we're going to cover the world of Harry Potter on pop culture and society. How it affects people, how people have seen it, not just in books and movies, but all around them. How some may have seen or felt like they became part of the world and helped them in real life. And once again, I have been able to somehow magically secure for I believe it's the fourth time now, Miss Brandy from Simply Potter.
Hello.
And I also managed to get the lovely and beautiful Miss Chelsea from Gryffindor Pinup.
Hi.
So, in a nutshell, we can simply start with the most basic question, and either word you can field it. And what I usually like to ask people is, how has Harry Potter affected your life?
Oh my gosh, in so many ways. Like, if Harry Potter didn't exist, I wouldn't be sitting in this room with you two, so we never would have met.
Yeah, we wouldn't be friends otherwise.
Yeah. I would have never met either of you. Because we all met at the celebration of Harry Potter in Orlando at Universal Studios. I met you on a separate occasion than I met Chelsea. But here we are, all sitting in the same room because of the love we have for Harry Potter.
And it's funny, I was actually having this conversation at some point with Miss Katiealani, also known as the Harry Potter fan on Instagram, on how she, like, me and her became friends randomly because she just happened to check into the hotel that I was working with at the time, and I was like, even had you not checked into that same exact hotel, it still would have come full circle, because I became friends with you, Brandy.
Yeah.
And then I became friends with you, Chelsea, and that would have still looped me in with Katie becoming part. Probably maybe not as big of a friend as she has become in my life, but definitely still would have connected the dots.
I have all the feels.
So, Miss Chelsea, since you are the first time here on the show, how has it affected you? You got some wonderful Luna tattoos going, so I can see already where this one's going to go. But tell us how you got introduced to it, how it affected your life, how it changed your life.
Originally I was introduced to it in 3rd grade, I believe. Our teacher actually read the books to us, the first 2 or 3 in 3rd grade. She read them to us in class. And I fell away from it for a few years, and then maybe 5 or 6 years ago I visited Universal for the first time since I was a child, and I was immediately hooked on Hogsmeade. That was the only section that was open, and so as soon as we got home from that trip, I bought all the books. I read them multiple times back to back, and I watched the movies and immediately hooked as an adult, and it brought me back to my childhood when I was in 3rd grade, when she read to us. But yeah, and so far now I've gone on trips. I've gone overseas to England and Edinburgh. Brandy, I went with her.
So fun.
I've made some of the best friends that I have now thanks to Harry Potter.
And I know I've been over this with Brandy in the past, but of all the characters in Harry Potter, why has Luna, obviously, I mean, she's got this beautiful tattoo of Luna glasses and, like, her wand and everything. So, why has Luna stood out to you and become a part of you?
Luna's definitely my favorite character. I feel like I relate to her a lot because my personality is a lot like hers. I can be kind of spacey, but at the same time, I know exactly what I'm doing, but it may not look like that to other people. But she's been a good inspiration just to be yourself and not let the ideas of what other people might think about you to kind of make you change who you are to please them. You have to be happy with yourself. So I have her Spectre Specs on my finger, which is a great daily reminder, or more than daily, honestly, anytime you look down, just to be happy with yourself and, be happy with who you are and not let other people affect you, how you think about yourself.
Very interesting, and definitely a very different take on, how and why this character has become part of you. Now, I know personally, I not only have the English copies of Harry Potter, but I have one copy in Italian, I have one in French. I know that they've come out with, like, a Latin series as well, which is, like, holy crap. But, like, what aspects of Harry Potter, outside of just the books and the movie, have you seen that it affected society as a whole, or has, like, even by pop culture on that kind of daily basis?
I think, for me personally, what really stands out in pop culture is the conventions and things that we're going to, and, like, constantly meeting Harry Potter people, like us sitting in this room. So, like, for instance, we're in New York City this weekend hanging out because there's a Harry Potter convention about, like, a hour north of here, and just, like, that camaraderie and at all these conventions that exist because of Harry Potter and how it's kind of worked its way into pop culture, and not even just Harry Potter conventions, but Harry Potter actors and actresses going to all of these different just general conventions like San Diego, New York, Comic-Con, Denver Comic-Con. And I think it's kind of made its way into mainstream, like maybe in that fashion as well as other fashions. Maybe one of you can
I
speak
think a
more
lot
to
of
that.
the Harry Potter actors have taken, like, a stand personally too on what they believe affects the society today. Like, I know Bonnie Wright has taken a stand against plastics and that type of thing, and she's really big on recycling of vinyl, and obviously vegan and animal rights, and so I think that affects pop culture too, because you see them not only as a Harry Potter character, but also as what they bring to society, as to try to make it better in different ways.
Yeah, very true.
And it's funny because, like, there's three of us right now, but Miss Katie's also around right now. She's just unavailable. But I know that, like, in just a few short weeks, the four of us are going to be again attending LeakyCon in Boston.
Yeah.
So, and it's true. Like, it brings people together because we've made already. We had, like, a wonderful night hanging out tonight, and we'll always remember it and cherish it. And I know that we're going to have 3 wonderful days in Boston where, we're going to have, like, I've never been to LeakyCon. I know, I think that you've been to LeakyCon before.
I've been once.
We went to LeakyCon.
So
Yeah,
you
we went
to
last year.
LeakyCon, and I
Katie's
think
a pro.
Katie is a pro. But by now, if you haven't figured out, Katie is like a pro everything Harry Potter. So, except being able to stay up late at night to record podcasts, but that's okay. We forgive her for that. Go to sleep. So,
another interesting way that Harry Potter's kind of made its way into pop culture, like, so when the books and the movies were coming out, there was all this, like, merch around each book and movie release and things like that, and just, like, the books and movies themselves. But then once everything was kind of done and wrapped up, there was kind of, like, this dry spell with merch where you couldn't, like, find a whole lot of licensed stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it was just creators, like, people on Etsy and people who had small businesses online doing unlicensed things. But now you kind of see this, like, really big boom in merch, and it's just
Skelly Girl water bottle.
Yeah, just, like, crazy stuff. So, yeah, the Skelly Girl water bottle came out, notebook collection. There was, like, a company that just made like the dresses that various like female characters wear. Vans just came out with a line of shoes. You can go to Box Lunch, Hot Topic, Walmart.
All of a sudden, it's
tattoos.
back as an important part. Like I think it died off for a little bit, and now all of a sudden it's back.
Yeah,
as...
like you can walk into your local Walmart and go to the
And
party
buy chocolate
supply
frogs.
section, and you can buy all the supplies you need to have a Harry Potter party.
It's like
You know you
2001
made
all over
Yeah,
again.
like
you know
5
you made
to
it big
10
in
years
pop
ago.
culture when you become party accessories.
Yes, in your local giant
Grocery store.
department store, whatever the heck you call Walmart.
And that's a great thing about like Harry Potter, and you're right, because like if you can go to something as big as Walmart and have, you know, merchandise that has been copyrighted and whatnot, but then you get people on Etsy where you're like, oh, I wish I had so and so's wand, or I had this prop, and you know, Warner Brothers or Universal or whoever it is that's the copyrights, you know, for merchandise for that specific thing, won't do it. There's somebody out there that will make it. So not only are you buying mainstream and whatnot, but you can still find a way to, which is licensed, but then you still find a way to support independent makers. And, you know, people always like, you know, shop small and whatnot. With Harry Potter, you're able to do both. You can go to Universal Studios and buy Harry Potter robes and wands, but then if there's ones that, you know, you want to, because like we all want our own ones, as much as we have like our favorite ones and Voldemorts and Potters and whatnot. You can't tell me that we haven't dreamt of like how our wand would look like. And there's people out there, you know, small market people that will do that for you.
I had a company recently reach out to me and ask me like if they could recreate my pottermore wand, and I was like, oh hell yeah! And it was so cool and like so unique, and it was like such an experience that you couldn't get going to Universal or what have you for licensed merch. So it's really cool that you have like the spread. You know?
Well, one of my favorite ones that I own is actually it's a quote unquote unlicensed one, and it's a beautiful wand, and it's got the head of a phoenix that you can like literally wraps around your finger, so you can kind of like twirl it around your finger, and it's beautiful. It's bigger than your regular one, but it's so unique and it's so beautiful, and it's so easy to handle. And it stands out because people notice it because it's something that's different that they're not used to. So, and this, you know, and there's all sorts of other things, and even stuff that is licensed, people are able to make on their own, like time turners. There are people out there that make time turners. They're like, you know, either plastic or if you look at my little thing right here that I have the official time turner. But then I don't want to have a $75, $80 time turner that may get broken. Mm-hmm. So I'll get like a $20, $25 one.
A $3 one.
Or a $3 one that when I do Jacob, I have around my little niffler when I can get my niffler back because I lost mine. But, yeah, I know, right? save Jacob's niffler. But I think that that's another way that it impacted society, that there are small makers, small owners of merchandise that are able to not necessarily make a living, but have an extra income to do stuff for the fandom that we will love.
Artist interpretation of the characters, because of course we know them all from screen, you know, from the movies, but I like artist interpretations of what they view Luna or, you know, whoever as the book description, how they take that and turn it into their version of the character. And there's this one artist on Instagram that I follow that she will do like 1950s characters of, you know, Hogwarts students, or, you know, the houses, what the houses looked like in the 50s and different things like that. And she's one of my favorite artists to follow just because it's so cool. Obviously, Gryffindor pinup, I'm into the 50s, you know, I like the vintage styles and all that, but I love the way that she interprets like the common rooms and the people sitting in, you know, with the vintage fashion, which is kind of cool. It's coming back nowadays. But.
Which, it's one of those things that I personally love to see because, like you said, like we all see it in the movies and it's presented to us. Yeah. But then, you know, like you said, you do the pinups and you know, which you do a beautiful job at it, by way. But seeing people's interpretations and how they would see if Harry Potter had happened, or if what the fashion for the magical world was in the 50s and the 60s, which I'm sure that with Fantastic Beasts coming out and going through the decades, we may see on the screen, but we already have our interpretation, which now we'll be able to compare to what we are shown in the upcoming movies.
Love the fashion of Fantastic Beasts, because I read an article that said that she actually went and like searched through different thrift stores and vintage shops and actually found pieces from the 20s and turned them into the fashion. So creative.
Another aspect of how it impacted pop culture and society, it's like how many bands on the music aspect have come out, Wizard Rock has become a genre. When you can create an entire genre of music based on a fandom, based on on something that you love, that is amazing. Because there's so many fandoms out there, which like they don't have, they'll have a lot of stuff like Harry Potter does, but when you create and you bring forth like Wizard Rock, and we have to name a few, there's Harry and the Potters,
Luna and the Lovegood, Draco and the Malfoys.
There's, I believe, like Star Kids, another one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna get thrown something at me from Miss Katie if I get it wrong. I'm getting a nasty look from across the room. But if you got something to say, come up to the mic. Stop wizarding, right? I'm too tired, but I'm gonna play Wizard Unite.
That's just even another thing.
Video games, and now we have Wizard Unite.
Yeah, Hogwarts of Mystery, Wizard
Harry
Unite.
Potter Go.
Give us more energy in Hogwarts Mystery. Let's be real.
That was.
I haven't had that.
That was a good bit, but yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just like all-encompassing, really, like kind of circling like everyone's thoughts together is we all have this love for the same thing, right? Harry Potter. But we're all like very different people, and we all have different creative outlets in which we release our love for Harry Potter. So like we're filming this podcast with you, which is like your love and your media. Chelsea's is like the vintage clothing, cosplay. Like me, it's like travel, like sharing this and that. You have people that get into the gaming. You have people that get into art. Like
you have Miss Katie with the stocking, but I said the stocking. No, you haven't stopped anymore. I'm joking.
She's gonna throw something at me.
Whatever.
She should throw something at you. But there's just all these avenues in which to share your
confusion on her face is great.
Also, she has sleep
She's just over there playing Wizards Unite, minding her own damn business.
Thanks, just throwing shade for no reason.
I'm throwing shade because Miss Katie said she was going to join us tonight, and then she decided she wasn't doing it. And she was too tired.
She's too tired. Yeah,
I'm going to go to sleep, and then we look up, and she's playing Wizard Unite. There's nothing around here for Wizard Unite. No, there is not. There's like one thing across the street. That's it. But anyway.
But he has to go out and do an errand in a few minutes. We know why.
Right, all of a sudden, it's like, wait. There's some good Pokemons, but that's a different fandom.
Pokemon.
That is also a fun game.
And like even with the fandom, like how many people do we know that have met, dated, gotten married? Like there's so many Harry Potter themed weddings that we have seen pictures on Facebook that it's like I honestly hope that the day I get married I'm gonna have something Harry Potter because it's just like it's been such... I said if. Sleep. Hope you don't snort. But yeah, and that's another thing where again, in pop culture, in society, it's given jobs to wedding planners. If I go up with my future wife and I go to a wedding planner, I'm like, I want a Harry Potter theme. That right there.
I'm good.
That's that's another aspect where it's like the theme and how much detail has gone into it. Everywhere you look, it affected it's something somehow, someplace.
Yeah, and like on your similar vein of like people getting like paid, you know, like you said, like wedding planners and stuff. There's this whole like, I don't know if genre is the right word. There's this whole like group of people that are getting paid to do like online Harry Potter influencing now. Like that's a complete like
I mean, like,
actual like career, and I mean I can speak to that personally.
Exactly, I was gonna say like your whole Simply Potter. It's like right in the title. It's like think of like how much you've been able to travel the world based just on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, and for those that don't know, I know I throw shade, but I love her because I throw shade because I love her. But like Miss Katie has been able to go all the way to France because she covered the Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald premiere. I mean, these are opportunities that some of us may have never have or never been able to do.
Yeah.
Just because we took a chance, or just because we have a love for it. It's like, I want to be part of this. How can I be part of this? And I'm pretty sure that if somebody knocked on my door right now and said, hey, there's 4 open roles for the Fantastic Beasts, we'd be like, we're quitting our jobs.
Yeah,
sign us up.
Mystic on what?
Right? Like, I'm sorry.
I mean, thanks to Harry Potter, I met Brandy, who like encouraged me, invited me to go and travel. I wouldn't have ever had the confidence to like actually leave and hop on an airplane and, you know, especially go out of country. So thanks to Harry Potter.
I'm like, I'm gonna get all emotional again. This is the Cauldron Pop all over again.
But yeah, I'm sorry now. And that is true. Like, people have been given opportunities and found opportunities to travel, to see the world, to meet new friends, to meet new people, solely based on one fandom. And it's great. And I haven't had the chance yet to go to England. I would love to be able to go and do the Warner Brothers tour, and not just that, but do a tour of England where they had the castle, where they had the train, go to Ireland.
Yes. The train is great.
I'm an enabler. I got her to go now.
Enabler, yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna sponsor my trip, I'm more than willing to go. We can go tomorrow. I don't care.
Let's fundraise.
Name Warner Brothers.
Check out the GoFundMe link. I'm just kidding.
Not just traveling though. I mean, I think the community as a whole is really inspiring and encouraging.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I had a rough day the other day, and I posted on my Instagram story that, you know, I was just having a rough time, and I got so many messages from people. Some of them I've never met in person, but we've connected on social media, and you know, they sent me the nicest messages and the most inspiring. Like, you know, you've got this. You'll get through it. You know, it's just encouraging to know that you've got people, even, you know, closer friendships maybe, and you've never met them in person, than someone that you see every day in your you know, muggle life, we'll say.
and that is very true, because there are people that I have met like one time, 2 at most in my life at like Celebration of Harry Potter or New York Comic Con. That was like, they were dressed up as something Harry Potter, and we just started talking, and then we're like, oh, you know, hit me up on Facebook or hit me up on Instagram and whatnot. And now, like, we don't see each other because we live like maybe worlds apart or countries apart or states apart. But we know that the day will come where there'll be something big, and we will run into each other again. We will see each other again, and it's great knowing that, you know, like, people like, it's a fandom, but it's also a family.
Yeah, definitely. That's how you and I got close. Because like, we met because of the costume contest at the Celebration of Harry Potter. We added each other on Facebook. Then
like a year later.
Yeah, a year later, we were in the Celebration of Harry Potter Facebook group, and I was traveling around Florida for the week before the celebration, doing national parks, and I was actually stranded because I was going around camping through Florida, and I got to Orlando a day or 2 early, and I had nowhere to stay because all the campsites were booked up. There was some big event going on other than celebration in Orlando, and hotel prices were sky high. It was ridiculous. So I posted it on the celebration group. I'm like, SOS, someone please, like, just let me camp in your yard. Like, I don't care, just help me out. Anybody, please throw me a bone. And Dank's like, hey, just come stay at my place. And then, like,
She crashed on my couch, and what is that? 2 years later, we're full circle because she's crashing on
All
my couch.
three of us are crashing on your couch.
Some things never change, apparently.
Here we are. Like, it's just crazy to think that, like, I mean, truly speaking, we've all spent maybe, like, me and you spent, like, maybe 12 hours. No, a little more than that, because I stayed at your house.
Yeah.
Like, just a few days together.
Like, we met up for dinner the day before the celebration. I think it was, like, Thursday night. And we hung out and we talked, and we went back to my place. We talked some more, and then the next 3 days it was just like I wore.
That's immediate friendship right there.
I had a moment of weakness, and the Slytherin put on the lion head.
Level of trust. Oh my
you know
God.
what? Luna likes every house. She doesn't. She doesn't not like the Slytherins.
No, I'm not saying there was a
Slytherin's
problem on her
judging
part.
them.
It was a problem on my part. It's like, oh, this Gryffindor thing, this Gryffindor.
Whatever.
Cancelled.
Cancelled. Oh my God. But yes, and from there, you know, the next 3 days. Actually, I think it was like the next 4 days too, because you stayed the day after the celebration too, because you went back to you went back to Universal, and I had to go to work the next day. But then you stayed like one more night, and then you
and then we went
took
to
off.
the park.
I think that's a really cool thing too, because you know, as adults, sometimes it's kind of hard to make friends because everyone has their own lives. But it's like when you meet another Potter fan, you immediately have this connection that's different from, you know, anything else. You immediately have something that you both connect with and you can have a conversation about, and it's like, I don't know, you're automatic friends almost.
Yeah, it's indescribable, really.
Yeah.
Like,
And I had been a Potter fan, not as big as I've become, but especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
I found myself to be a fan in a world where wherever I looked, people were a lot younger than me because I became a fan later in life. But then I discovered that it didn't matter how old you were because people were welcoming no matter what. It didn't matter that, you know, somebody in their mid-30s, late 30s was hanging out with somebody in their, you know, mid-20s, early 20s, because it wasn't like, oh, why, you know, the age difference. Like, they're there because of Harry Potter. They're there because they're celebrating. And then you turn around and you have these people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Plus, which obviously they didn't have Harry Potter when they were young. So this is not something they're like, oh, from our childhood. No, Harry Potter started at a certain period in time. And they were different age ranges. And it didn't matter what your history was. It didn't matter what your walk of life is. There are friends which... on Facebook, we do not agree on a lot of things, whether, you know, it's politics, whether it's music, especially politics nowadays. It's a huge, you know, hot button. But we know that we can be debating back and forth and not agree at all on anything on Facebook. But the moment we meet at something that's Harry Potter based, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that, you know, whether you support Trump, whether you don't support Trump, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Liberal, whatever. We're here to have fun. We're here to cosplay together. We're here to celebrate, have a beer, have a drink together, and then we go back to our regular lives. And I'm not saying there are other, you know, that's not possible in other fandoms, but I have found it harder to do in other fandoms. There are fandoms where, like, if you get to be a certain age, it's kind of like weird that you still like it, and it's like it's almost like you reach an age range, and it's like, okay, you can no longer be part of the fandom. You can still like said show, but it's weird that it's, you know, with Harry Potter, like I said, I mean, you girls are what, in your 20s? I'm in my 30s. I have friends in their 40s, 50s, which do it. There's oh my God, I'm blank. Marla.
Yes,
Marla with her 2 boys, which they are, it's, you know, it's a mom and 2 kids, and they have the costumes, the cutest things, and the cosplays that they have done are out of this world. And every time, it's always something different. It's always something new. They think of different costumes, and will there ever be an end in sight? Will it ever come to a close? I mean, obviously, hope not. You know, especially we got like at least 3 more movies now with Fantastic Beast. But I don't believe that, I like to believe anyway that it's one of those generational things that we will pass it down to our kids, our nephews, our nieces, and they will keep going, and it will never die. It will never go away, because Harry Potter is so big and so massive that growing up, you can identify as a character, and you will find yourself in that character, and then you'll realize that you come to be a different character. I absolutely love Sirius Black. That's one of my favorite characters. Why? Because of the hardships he's gone through, but yet he still loves. He's been done wrong, obviously. He was thrown in Azkaban for 12 years. He was, accused of being a traitor or accused of being a murderer, but he still has this love for Harry. He still has this love for the Order of the Phoenix, and he spoiler alert, he dies.
Why do you keep saying spoiler alert?
Just in case somebody hasn't gotten that far
Spoiler
in the world.
alert. You immediately say the spoiler.
Spoiler alert, Snape kills Dumbledore.
I had a shirt that said that when I was a kid. That was such a dick.
I think Harry Potter makes you a little more tolerant, too. Because whether you, like you said, whether you believe you agree on the same topic or not, you're not gonna, retaliate against each other. You're just a little more tolerant, even if you don't have the same views as someone that you're with. You still appreciate them enough to not, go against them, or, you still love them as a person.
Yeah.
It's not an issue.
Raises you up a level of respect, I feel like this odd way.
And even Fantastic Beasts, with how still relatively new it is to Harry Potter, one of the reasons why I absolutely love Jacob Kowalski and I cosplay him and I love him as a person is because, again, he reminds me of me in my life. I've always been the one on the outside looking in, and somehow been able to become part of this world. He may not have all the abilities that everybody else has, but he's found a way to be part of it, even being a nomad or a muggle. And that's what I love, because it's many times I found myself, especially the beginning of my love with Potter, on the outside looking in, but then slowly found myself to be it. And I hope to God one day, somehow by the end of the movies, he'll have his own wand or something will happen to make him magical. But, oh my God, Jacob Kowalski with a wand? Hell
awesome.
Yeah. Right?
I think that's the cool thing about cosplaying is when you connect with this character and you begin to see their character development and you appreciate them. And then when you cosplay them and people come up to you and treat you as that character, especially with kids, they see you as that character. There's no difference in their eyes. It makes you feel more connected with the character and more appreciative. I had this one I was at a Barnes & Noble event and I was dressed as Luna. And this little boy comes running up to me and he goes, "Oh, I read all about you." And he, that just made my day. I'm like, "Oh, you're reading, number one. You're reading books. That's so cool." And, yeah.
So, to bring this to a close, as we said, hopefully Harry Potter will never see the end of it. The boy that lived will always live one way or another in our memories, in our books, in our children, in our futures. And hopefully it will keep bringing together people from all walks of life and creating bonds and making friends and creating couples and therefore more generations. And I mean, I'm sure that if it hasn't impacted some part of pop culture by now, somewhere along the line, I'm waiting for NASA to send up a shuttle and it's Firebolt written on the side of the shuttle.
Express.
The Hogwarts Express going into space.
Golden Snitch.
Catch me now. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you followed me from the beginning, or whether this is the first time that you listened to me, I hope that you were entertained. I hope that you loved what you heard. And like I said, if you want to be part of this, I'm going to be making this into a I want to start with like a monthly episodes and just bring in people that want to talk about it, people that may not have the chance to, there's people out there which have a love for it, but are surrounded by people that have no understanding, have no knowledge of it, and they're just looking for that outlet. And if that's you, by all means, shoot me a message, let me know, tell somebody, and I'll be more than willing and happy to have you come on and have a chat and have a talk and just hear what you have to say about the fandom. For the 4th time, Miss Brandy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And as always, check her out and all the work that she does with Simply Potter. Do you have any upcoming, I know that we said LeakyCon, but do you know any other major projects coming up that you're going to be working on?
I might have a big project coming out on Facebook on Simply Potter soon.
So make sure you go and like her page and follow her and see what the big surprise is. Yeah. I also do not know, so I'm not trying to be coy. She doesn't tell me much. She's just kind of like, yeah, sure, I'll do something.
This is very new. I'll fill you in right now.
And Miss Chelsea on Instagram is Gryffindor Pinup. Do you have a Facebook page as well?
Sort of, yeah.
You started. It's there.
It's new.
Okay, so check out both of them. I will see you ladies again at LeakyCon in Boston in October.
I have a ginormous secret cosplay that I'm working on for Boston, so we'll see.
So follow her Instagram to see what her giant secret cosplay is.
And as always, follow us on Manbites Film, manbitesmedia, manbitesretro, and on my Instagram and cosplay page at House of Phoenix Cosplay. This is William Phoenix signing out, saying thank you, stay beautiful,
stay magical.